Oh, I say! Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good morning. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Hope that everybody is well on this Monday morning. It's a really sad Monday morning, purely because we're going into international break. There's going to be no Premier League football for a couple of weeks. And I'm not sure about you. I don't mind the internationals, but I can't get the same passion as I can for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm joined. We've got a takeover today. We're being taken over by two people that have bullied me. They've bullied me into coming on. The abuse that I got, the death threats from Kate. Ellie turned up at my house. It was all too much. We're joined today by Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs, and Queen Ellie Højbjerg, Tottenham female royalty in the house. How are we doing, ladies? You well?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, very good. I'm so excited to be on your show, Savva. It's an honour.
Why?
We harassed you, but we're still on.
Why? I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people out there hate me, so they might end up hating you by the end of this show. So don't worry about it. It's everyone's well though, right? We're all good. Everyone's happy and good.
Yeah.
Welcome onto the show. Normal admin. Smash the like button, people. I think YouTubers shouldn't have to say this anymore, surely. Just smash the like button as you enter the room. It's so much easier. We're just shy of 150 away from 11K. So let's get that button pressed. Don't smash it. Just caress it nicely, whatever you want to do to the button. And just quickly to plug that from this Saturday at midday through to Sunday midday, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live charity stream, which is really tough. Looking forward to it, not looking forward to it at the same time. We're going to raise money for the British Heart Foundation. So please join me for that. We'll have quizzes, debates. As I said yesterday, I'm sure there'll be lots of debates where people storm off, come back, we apologise, we make up. There'll be debates. We'll be talking about Spurs' history. We'll be doing a live England watch-along just to pray that no one gets an injury from a Spurs perspective. So join me from Saturday. Let's start. Ellie, I'll come to you first.
Yeah. Okay.
Spurs are in a very good groove at the moment. We're in a wonderful place. Has this international break come at a good time that we can all reflect and go, oh my God, what an amazing job Postecoglou's done? Or has it come at a time where we're like, it's upsetting the rhythm. We're in a good place and we want to keep winning games. What's your feelings on this international break?
Yeah, me personally, I think it's come at an awful time. I think that you've got to keep your momentum going, haven't you, Savva? And I love it when we've just beaten Burnley as well, who traditionally we either lose to or draw to at their ground. So we were very impressive. But I just think it's a bit of a bummer, that it's come now.
Right.
And I don't mind them, but then we might get injuries with our players as well, right? And we don't need that, because we need those players. They're vital to our team. Yeah,
it's a strange one, isn't it? Because we were having this conversation last night, and I think most people have known this. We've got a good 11, right? I'm not going to go overboard. I don't want to be what the Arsenal fans were last year, annoying everyone to the point where you put yourself in a position of failure. But we have got a good 11, and now the worry throughout the next 2 weeks, isn't it, Kate, is going to be, please sub him off early, or please don't go anywhere near James Maddison, or please, you know what I mean? It's that worry now during the international week, isn't it?
Oh, God, I can't cope with it. I'm going to be praying to the football gods every day that there's no injuries. It couldn't have come at a worse time. We're getting a roll, things are starting to move. It seems so early as well, 4 games in to have an international break. Oh, I hate international breaks. Sorry, I am patriotic, but I hate them. But yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely hate them. And like you say, if we get one of our key, I don't want to go down that road and be negative, but if we get a key player injured, it changes the whole outlook of this. Well, even possibly the season, depending on if it's a serious injury or not. I mean, it is worrying, but like I say, all we can do is hope that everyone comes out unscathed.
Yeah, that is all we can do. Listen, I don't think it's not being patriotic. Look, I used to love the whole England setup, and then I think we got to the point where England were playing games at a rate of knots. And I think what was good about it was the rarity of England games where getting called up was a big thing, and you'd play a game and you'd come back. Now it's 3 or 4 games in between the international break, and it just all feels a bit much. But look, Ellie, Spurs have started really well. It looks like we settled into our best 11, would be fair to say now. It looks like we've got to that stage. Just how much credit does Postecoglou have to take here from what he picked up for how bad it was? I mean, let's be fair, the second half of last season was really bad, not just from a management point of view. The players seemed down. We had the whole Paratici scandal. Everyone was worried about Kane. And Postecoglou's been here, 3 months, and it's just a complete different club, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's like a fresh of breath air, isn't he? Fresh of breath air, yeah. But I just like him because of the way he is, right? Yeah. The way he does his pressers, the way he gels the fans. At the end of the match, he goes over and tells the players to go nearer and clap the crowd. And just his general demeanour. You just want to hug him. He's a big teddy bear, isn't he? Right? And he's brought a philosophy of football that we had back in the day, Savva. We played that style, right? Even under Poch, you don't have to go back to the 60s like a lot of people harp on about, or the 50s. Even under Poch, we were playing that type of progressive football. And then it went all stale and we had to put up with drop, right? And now he's come in and he's made us play on the front foot. We hardly ever do a back pass. Even my man Højbjerg's not doing back passes, which is a miracle.
Hang on. What's the sweepstake? 10 minutes 31, and she's mentioned Højbjerg.
Yeah.
Love it.
Right, I had to get his name in, but it's just his way, right? And the way he does his press conferences, the way he's on TV. I saw him when he went into that interview and the guy was manhandling him. He goes, let's get his introduction first.
Yeah.
He's just funny, and he's brought a calmness to the players, and he's gelled the fans with the players as well, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a really good point, isn't it, Kate? When you watch, I mean, first of all, I think he's mega professional on the line. Like, I watch some of these managers ranting and raving. Like I don't want to say it because they're Arsenal, but you watch Arteta on the line and you just want to punch him, don't you? Like, he's just so annoying. You watch Postecoglou and he's professional. You watch him in his press conferences. He never gets too irate. He never gets emotional. If a stupid question is asked, he'll shut it down, but politely. He'll big up what he needs to big up. And I don't know, you're right. He is just that breath of fresh air that everyone is going, like, yes, this is what the club needed. And for me, I feel this is what we needed 5 years ago when Poch left. We won't talk about whether Poch should have gone or not, but once Poch left, I feel like this character of person is what we needed to continuate. Is that a word? For the continuation? I don't know. For the continuation of, I'm 40. I'm not about to start learning new words now.
No.
Right. For the continuation of what Poch did, this is what was needed. But we went down that route of winners without being ready to win. And it almost feels like now we've had a real wasted kind of 4 or 5 years. Hindsight's wonderful, but it does feel like this is what we should have been doing a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I think the thing with Postecoglou is, unlike the Joses and the Contes, it's an honour for him to manage our club. He's not doing us a favour. He doesn't look down on Tottenham. This is a step up for him. And you can see he's embraced the whole history of the club. He talks about, our dealers. He talks about Ricky Villa. He's just wonderful. I'm with Ellie. I just want to cuddle him. Every time I see him, I want to just go, he's
Jim's watching, right?
Jim's the same. Jim wants to cuddle him as well. He's like Hoover. Do you know, he's a big hairy man. It's so lovely.
Sorry, did you say he's like Hoover?
Well, in the fact that he's a big hairy man, but you know what Greek people are like? They're very honest. They're very loyal. And they're genuine people. I've had a lot of experience with Greek people, and they're the nicest people on the planet. And I think we're so blessed to have Ange. He's not only gelled the fan base and the players and given us that connection back, but he's gelled the squad. Everyone looks so together, like they did under Poch, and everyone's playing with a smile on their face, and it's just so nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, yes, absolutely. Us Greek people, we are very honest, and sometimes that honesty, Ellie, gets us into all sorts of trouble, doesn't it? But
keep sometimes.
yeah, it's like, a problem is, as a YouTuber, I find it difficult to keep them. But hey, and sorry, I didn't mean to leave it on my comment here, but do keep smashing the likes, people. There's nearly 400 of you in here. We're growing every second. Let's get that up to 300 likes, and let's smash that subscribe button, people. Come on, we're doing it. I'll tell you what I'll do is every single bit of revenue I get this week from a super chat from now through to Sunday lunchtime, I will chuck into the pot for the British Heart Foundation. So if anyone does want to put in super chat, please do. If you don't, you don't have to, but please do like and subscribe, because those things are absolutely free, which is what Daniel Levy likes. Ellie, you touched upon it just now. It's that football that most of us grew up on. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and go, I've seen 40 years of wonderful one-touch push and run football. But certainly when I was a young kid and I was taking Spurs, I remember for the very, very young ages, I just remember everyone being happy, everyone praising our players, everyone really enjoying Spurs having a lot of the ball. We kind of came away from that, didn't we? We came we went from this end to this end with no in between. Is that the biggest thing that Postecoglou's done to get Spurs fans on side? And is that a ploy by Levy, or is it like Postecoglou said, they didn't discuss that? That's just the way that he plays. What do you reckon?
Yeah, do you know what it is, right? I think he actually cares, like Kate touched on as well. He cares about our club, right? Like he cares about the history, and he's gelled everybody. So they all buy into what he's selling, right? And what he's selling is sexy football. Right? He's got us on the front foot. He's bought exciting players with pace. He's just added another one. Maybe people don't like the signing, but Brennan Johnson's got pace, and he'll nurture him. And he's attention to detail in the match as well.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Take the Fulham game away, because that wasn't his first 11. You can't judge him on that, right? You go on the league matches. The way we've performed is just like he is as a man.
Right.
Very diligent, hardworking, cares, puts in the effort. 90 minutes, not 30 minutes, not 40 minutes like we were doing last year. One half good, one half bad. But really, it wasn't really one half good. It was one half of, we were trying, but we weren't quite that.
Yeah, it wasn't clicking. Yeah.
He's brought the je ne sais quoi to our football. Yeah. And he's put some cherries on top as well.
I think the difference is, in the halves where we've not been firing this season, we're still trying to play. It's not that we've sat 10 men behind the ball and gone, right, okay, let's just sit here and do nothing. And then when we're 2-0 down, let's try and win a game. It's just, it's like I keep saying to everyone, like, and look, one of the problems is, right, the more shows I get invited on. So I do some shows today with people like Saeed. He's got 70,000 subscribers. So there's thousands of people watching his show. One of the things that frustrates me when I look at the comments section of these shows is the number of people that want everything now in life. Like now. It must be now. You know, like those kids who they've seen an advert for a brand new PlayStation and they're screaming at their mum, I want it now. You can have it at Christmas. No, I want it now, right? And this is where I feel like we're at with Spurs, is that this man's coming and changed a whole philosophy in like 8 weeks of preseason or whatever he was here for. Bearing in mind, it wasn't the most seamless of preseasons, not his fault, but it wasn't the most seamless of preseasons due to Roma, Jose doing whatever Jose did with Roma, and then the typhoon. But what he's done in such a short space of time has been magnificent. But with that, Ellie, means not every single minute of football on that pitch is going to be silky smooth. There are going to be players that it take a little bit longer to get up to up to a scratch with how that system plays, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen it already. There's little tweaks here and there, but with every match, I've seen a progression, right? There's like Udoji, he tucks in. That goal he created when he got it off the line, right? That was diligence. That's him saying, don't ever give up, right? Go for the ball, right? And he done a superb cutback and he got it inside and we scored, right? That wouldn't have been the same last year. He would have just given it up and it would have gone off.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Listen, I'll come to you, Kate, in a second. A few people asking questions about the Just Giving page. I will set it up today. Sorry, it's been a long weekend for me, so I will set that up today. And then, as I always say to people, if you want to pay through the Just Giving page, so you know, absolutely it's there. But trust me, I always do then put the certificate I get from Just Giving, from the money I've sent them personally from my bank once YouTube pay me out. Trust me, everyone should know me by now. Every year I do this 3 or 4 times a year, and I like to raise money for Ellie. I know it's close to your pardon the pun. I know it's close to your heart, Kate. You said it is as well. So I'm not Bob Spur. Sorry, I didn't want to be that guy, but I'm not Bob Spur, right? So the money is going to get to where it goes. And last time I think we raised about 3,900 all in all, which was not bad. So let's see if we can beat the 4K. I'll set that up later today, people. I'll set that up later today. But all the money will get there. Trust me, it's my favorite charity. Kate, let's go to the obvious. So the team was announced on Saturday, and it was like the football gods. I don't believe in. I'm not religious at all. Sorry, I'm not religious at all, but I do believe in the football gods, right?
Yeah,
whoever they are. Well, I say I believe in them. They made me a Spurs fan, so maybe not. But lots of people wanted to see something different than Richarlison up top. They got their wish. I got my wish, certainly. I think you were one of them, Jim, maybe not so much. But you know, and look, as manager decisions go, can it get better than making a change up front and then that player comes in and scores a hat-trick?
Honestly, I mean, I've been calling for Richie to be dropped since game. Well, I never
since he was at Everton.
Yeah, exactly that. I was on Sean's show in the morning, and when the team came out, I was just so buzzing. It was like my dream team had come out. And what a masterstroke it proved to be to have Sonny through the middle. I mean, I know everyone's been calling for it. Everybody's been saying it. But, oh, my God, he looked like the Son of 2-3 seasons ago. And I literally had to do a video to Jacob and say, look, I'm in the mud. I thought he'd lost his mojo. I was talking and saying he wasn't good enough to be captain. I was saying Romero wasn't good enough to be vice captain. But you know what? I'll take my mud in because I want to be wrong. And I was wrong, and long may it continue. But it couldn't have been any more of a masterstroke if he tried. And I just want to go back to what Ellie said. She said he's made us play like the man he is. You know, we'd perform for the 90 minutes. All I can say to that is, I wish I was his wife. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, you can say whatever you want while hubby's watching. Listen, just quickly, I am going to call out. I mean, Angus, I love Angus. Angus is an Arsenal fan, but he's a nice Arsenal fan. He comes in the chat all the time. Big up to you, my man. Listen, my response to this is simple. When you guys beat Man United yesterday and were celebrating on the pitch as though you'd won the treble, right? Like, were you saying, calm down, it's only United? Haven't we beaten Man United as well? And then the other clubs you've beat are Nottingham Forest, who were in a relegation battle last year, and Crystal Palace, who were in the bottom half last year, and you drew with Fulham. So before you can't start giving it the old, yous haven't played anyone good, we've played as good a teams as you've played, mate. Come on, Angus. Salt behaviour there. I do love Angus, though. I do love Angus. I want to talk a little bit later about that offside goal at the Emirates. It really pushed me off the new rules. But look, one thing I've said, Ellie, is I'm going to put the League Cup game aside, right? I'm going to put that game aside because that's what got me the death threats, right? Me and Henry Wright, you know, we've got our guns at our doors ready for all these people that are apparently coming to kill us. But that aside, you know, as a fan, when every fan has their own opinion on who should play, who shouldn't, what players should come in and out. I can't ask for any more from the manager because the three things that I've wanted to change this season have been Royal out and Porro in. He did it after one game. Skip out Sarr in. He did it after one game. And then Richarlison out, Sonny through the middle and Solomon in. And he did it after the 3 games. I can't complain as a fan. When that happens, you sit there and go, this manager, I love him. Like he's doing, you know, he's seeing what I'm seeing personally, only personally. I love that. So there's not really a lot to complain about from Ange in the league, is there?
No. And what he was looking for in that Fulham game is players that were going to step up. Now, I know we played rubbish, like most of them played rubbish, but there was a certain little player that I thought got a lot of stick and he shouldn't have got it, and that was Solomon.
Yeah,
he
I agree.
was actually trying. I made the quip about him the other day. I said he's like Lucas Moura and Aaron Lennon, but with a head. He's like, you know, they run around. They run around like headless chickens, and I said that he's a chicken with a head.
Yeah. No, you're right.
About that. Yeah,
you're right.
He looked up. He's an intelligent boy. He made 2 goals because he looked up. He didn't have his head down running at players for nothing, you know. And I was very impressed with him. I know he made a couple of duff passes, but everybody does in a game. Even Maddison can make a duff pass. But you know what I liked is his attitude, right? And Postecoglou saw that against Fulham, right? He saw it and he thought, right, this boy needs a chance. And he gave him his chance and he took it with both hands or both feet. Yeah. So
I think that he's technical. I think with a lot of wingers, back in the day, I feel like when you had the old 4-4-2 girls, right? It was funny. It was the 4-4-2. I felt like wingers, you knew their job, right? We knew their job, right? It was, you know, it was simple. I feel like in a 4-4-2, everyone knew everyone's job. It wasn't overcomplicated like it is now in the world. Like he's a 6, he's an 8, he's a 10, he's an attacking 10, and he's right. Wingers beat their man, right? And they got the ball in, right? There wasn't really any of this. There was a few players, but there wasn't really any of this inverted kind of winger nonsense. Everyone beat their man. Now I feel that wingers have either become, I'm going to pretend to be cool like the kids here, pace merchants, right? Or they're very technically good and they cut inside. Yeah. I feel with Solomon, and it's very early days with him, but I feel like he can do he can do both of those things, but I need to see him. Obviously, this isn't his fault. I feel we need to see that consistently over 5 to 10 games. And you girls probably the same as everyone else gets frustrated at me, always using the word consistency. But it's the same with the people. Like, I'm getting all these messages now about you owe Son an apology. And I'm like, hang on, whoa, hang on. We saw this last year where we had a bad time and then got a hat trick. Let's relax. There's no apologies needed. Consistency. And that's what I think we need now to see. Son up front, Solomon on the left. Let them build that relationship and let's see some consistent behaviours from these players. Would that be fair?
Yeah, 100%. You're always consistent in going on about consistency, Savva. Consistency is key. So congratulations on your consistency.
Thank you. I do try my best. But yeah, I just
consistency.
I mean, I try my best. Listen, I feel like sometimes, well, the worst thing about being a YouTuber is if you say something, people only hear what you say. They don't look at any of the context that you say around it. You know, like yesterday went mad about, oh my God, you wanted to sell Son. And it was like, well, no, hang on. What I said was when he wasn't playing well. And when I said, if a bid came in for 130, 140 million, I am selling him at the age of 31. Yeah, I don't make any bones about that. Then he scores a hat-trick and then everyone's like, oh my God, you wanted to sell him for 130 million. Yeah, there's not many players I wouldn't sell for 130 million, right? Yeah. One hat-trick doesn't change my mind. But it was always it was just a hypothetical. But anyway, Ellie, James Maddison. Listen, I've wanted this guy since he was at Coventry and Aberdeen. I just felt he was superb and I watched him then. Felt we should have got him when Leicester got him. And then there was rumours last summer that he was offered to Conte, that Conte said no, doesn't fit his system. I mean, sometimes these sort of decisions are the difference between having a really good football team and having a workman-like team. How good is Maddison? How good is this guy going to be for us?
Oh my God. I mean, the sky's the limit with him. He's just technically brilliant. His passing is on point. He can score goals. His link-up play is excellent. He's got a very good understanding with Sonny and Bissouma already, right? And Ansar, right? So there's more to come from him, I think. You know, I think we've seen the cake. Now he's going to put the icing on the cake, because he's a technical player, but he's an exciting player in the pockets of space that he finds, and he creates space for other players as well. I've noticed that because I used to be a cam as well, and like running off the ball is very vital to create space for other players, and you take a distraction from the defenders when you're running into that space, because they're looking at you and they're not paying attention to the guy who's eventually going to score. So I love that about him. But I just think we've even got more to come from him, if there can be. I just feel that he's a maverick as well. I love his attitude. He's very confident when he receives the ball. He knows that he's got that talent. You know, he knows himself. And I love players like that. They express themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't hold back.
Yeah, I think look, you're spot on. That Kate, I will come to you about Maddison, but I am running behind on some super chats. By the way, Richard Jones, I love your optimism. I don't think we're going to get 4,150 subs in 30 days. I mean, that would be quite sensational. But thank you for reaching for the stars on my behalf. By the way, no one has subscribed throughout the whole show. So to get to 15, to even get to 11K, just a few subscribers would be nice. It's pinned in the chat. Let's see some really generous people. And once all this comes through, I will stick this straight into the Just Giving page for the British Heart Foundation. Santu, always a massive supporter of the channel, just comes in with a super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. I really wish I knew who you were, if I'm honest. Like you've been so supportive throughout all of the through the whole channel. Also, when it comes to the charity pages, Strasbourg Steve, big up to you, my man. You were a bit quiet over the weekend. How are you? Newcastle have started to not win games, and you've disappeared a little bit, mate. He said, how the tables have turned with Newcastle and Spurs. I wouldn't want to play you guys anytime soon. I suppose that's the compliment that that we need as Spurs fans. But big up to Steve, always very generous. Koi's 219. I love this. The 219th Koi has become a YouTube member. Big up to you. Welcome to the Football Heritage TV family. There will be when did we do the? Can't remember. When did we do the last show? Last week. There will be one in the next 7 or 8 days. There'll be a new. I'll probably do it just after the charity gig. We'll have another members only show, and we'll have members only conversations, which I need to ramp up in the community section. So welcome to you, and let us know your name so that we don't always have to call you Koi's 219. But big up to you. Thank you so much. Mia's in the house. Not seen Mia in around these parts for a while. Oh God. I thought it was me bringing the sexy ladies on stream was going to bring Mia to the table. Big up, Mia. Said, win, lose or draw, we will play our way with no fear. So let's enjoy it. I'm excited to see it continue to grow and see where it takes us. Absolutely. All we wanted for the moment was to watch football, right? And we're watching some football. So big up to Mia. Much love to you as well. Strasbourg Steve's come back in and said, top class panel, by the way. I think they're both taken, Steve, but listen, good flirting game, my man. I like it. Get in there. You never know what might happen. Go on.
He's only a baby. You never know.
I know. Maybe he needs a mother figure in his life, eh? Maybe
he does.
And I expect we'll see a lot of Steve on the 24-hour channel. Last time he made about 21 hours and then conked out due to 21 hours of drinking Malibu. Big up to Steve. We'll see you at the weekend. And we got the England watch along, Steve. I know you're not English, but we've got the England watch along. Big up to you, Tigaro, Single Parent Theory, always a massive supporter. Big up to you, has come in and just put a super sticker. So thank you so much, Tigaro. You're going to owe me money on this Richarlison bet, mate. You are not winning that one, I can assure you, my friend. Jim is just a guy who loves Spurs, who's with Kate, who's just a girl, and she loves Spurs. And it's also romantic, Ellie, isn't it? It's also romantic.
It is. I'm jealous.
Has said, Savva, lovely to see some pretty guests on for a change. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm getting bored of seeing Kuva, Sean, and, Haz and all those ugly men. Good luck with the 24-hour stream. People get behind Savva for the Heart Foundation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. Smash that subscribe button. 500 of you in here. No one is smashing it. Big up to you, Jim. Thank you so much, mate. Always a big supporter of all the Spurs community. Paul Connor has been a channel member for 2 months. Has said, what result over the weekend? Great performance and long may it continue. If you have the Just Giving link, I will use that so YouTube doesn't get a cut. Yes, I will be posting that this afternoon. Let me get the admin sorted, and I will be posting that this afternoon. So leave that with me, my man. It will be done. Big up to you, Paul. And as always, if anyone doesn't want, you can go whatever route you want, but trust me, the money will get there. So big up to you. We've got 5 more to go. Jim has come back in, and he's saying he's been a member for a month. So big up to you. And said, question to all 3, how will we do against the Gooners? Let me save this. I'll come back to this one last so we can answer that. Coys219 has come back in and said, Theo. Is that Theo?
Yeah, that's like Greek, isn't it? For
Theo,
uncle.
Yeah, Theo uncle.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Theo uncle?
He's saying that uncle
Theo means uncle in Greek.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Big up to you. Big up to you. Sorry, I'm not with it there at all. Said, Ange is the man this club needed. Show a man a bit of love and respect, and he'll run through a brick wall for you. Simple man management.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, my wife says lovely things to me, and she comes home to a nice, clean house when I'm not streaming, and dinner made, and dogs walked. It's great. I'm like a house husband that streams. It's lovely. She keeps telling everyone that she's the breadwinner. I'm like, oh, yeah, hang on. Streaming is difficult. Big up to you, Theo. Big up to Jim. East London Gooner. We attract some Gooners in the house. Has just come in with a super sticker. Thank you so much. I hope you and your lad are well. I know that you and your lad watch the show together. So big up to both of you and to the beautiful dog on the screen as well, as my ugly little pug is just sitting here sleeping as always.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, they just sleep all day long. It's like they've been watching Conte their whole life and they're just catching up on sleep. Sorry, low blow. Blaine Dev, another person massively generous in this community. I said, big up, as always, Sav. Just keep it simple today. Come on, you Spurs. Tried to keep it simple yesterday, my man. I tried my best to keep it simple. Sean came in with all guns blazing. Big up to you, Blaine Dev. Much appreciated. By the way, Sean and I are really good friends. For anyone that keeps trying to stir this pot, there's nothing there. Big up to you. Strasbourg Steve's come back in again and said, I won't hide. Bring me on the show. We can talk about how bad Newcastle are. No problem. Early days, Steve. I think, look, after Newcastle was doing so well last year, the pressure was always going to be massive. But it's 4 games in, a couple of wins in a row, and all of a sudden, all of this doom and gloom goes away. So don't worry about it, my man. He's come back in to say, Savva charity stream this weekend. Yeah, 12 p.m. Saturday, Steve. It's 12 p.m. Sunday. So I don't know what time that is for you, mate. But yeah, and Martin Knightsbrig, big up to you. I said, big up to you. I said, Savva, fluent in Greek, I see. Listen. I was brought up in Lewisham and I didn't live with anyone who spoke Greek, so I'm not sure how I would have spoke Greek. But yes, I know a few swear words that I can throw your way, Martin. So
typical.
Yeah. But big up to absolutely everyone. Look, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. But please do keep smashing the subscribe button. It really does help. And keep smashing those likes. We're currently on 213 and there's 500 of you in here, so smash that like button. Kate, let's get back to this. James Maddison, he is, in the last 4 years in the Premier League, only 3 footballers have more goals and assists combined than this man, and that is Harry Kane, Kevin De Bruyne, and one more.
Weren't Sonny, was it?
No, it wasn't Sonny. No, it wasn't Sonny. There was one more. But look, this guy is for me criminally underrated. Can't believe how much he's gone under the radar when I watch how much creativity other teams lack. We're lucky to have this guy, right?
Yeah,
Salah.
I think
Salah.
Yeah. I've got to say, like Jim's been saying for 4 years, we need to get Maddison. We need to get Maddison. And I've always been a bit, not keen. He's cocky. I don't think he's as good as you think he is. And then he's come in and I'm just like, wow. For the first time in our marriage, Jim's right. I'm like, whoa, this guy is immense.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? That's what they say?
Everything good at the minute is coming through Maddison. He is sensational. I don't like to go overboard on players, but he's blown me away. I cannot believe he's so confident. He's slotted in so well into the team. I mean, people say he was born to play for Spurs, which is so cheesy, but it's spot on.
It's massively true.
Yeah, he's developed partnerships all over the pitch. His link-up play, he's just incredible. He, for me, if we lose him to injury, will be the biggest loss at the moment. He is phenomenal, and he just seems to control. He pulls the strings every game, and everything ticks through Maddison. I can't gush about him enough. I think he's incredible. And we got him at a bargain price. I remember signing him, and I said to Dave, I think he might end up being signing in the summer, because I was watching more and more about him. And I stand by that. I think he's just phenomenal.
I mean, at the moment, he's 100%. He's 4 goal contributions for 4 games. But it's not even just that, Ellie. Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously goals and assists will always grab the attention. But whenever he gets the ball, his first reaction is, how can I drive forward? How can I play someone in going forward? Where's the pass? And he's one of these footballers that I love. Now, I'm not comparing him to this man, but if you look behind me there, this little genius here, Lionel Messi. What I love about people like that, even this genius here, sexy old Ginola there, what these guys do is they know what's easy. He's mine. Leave him alone. They know what's going on around them. Like they know where everyone is on the pitch before they receive the ball. And a lot of footballers kill the ball stone dead, and we'll go, "Oh, look at that control." I was always taught that top players kill the ball, but they don't kill it stone dead at their feet. They kill it stone dead where they want their next body movement to be. Do you know what I mean? Like Ginola was a master at it. Kill it stone dead on the outside because my next pass is going out there, right? Kill it inside because I'm going there. Maddison's got that. I'm not saying Messi or Ginola levels, but Maddison's got that. Where's the next ball? Where's my wide men before I receive it? Where do I turn? How can I get a shot away? He is the best player at Spurs. I'm going to say it for me. I think he's our best player, really, by a mile as well. I think he's brilliant.
I would. Yeah, I agree with you, but I would put Bissouma in the same category, but for different reasons.
For
different reasons, because he's got a different skill set. But in terms of Maddison, the vision of the boy, right? The intelligence, the football intelligence, how he moves on the pitch, how he links up play, that vision is going to win us something, I'm sure. I'll say it here now. That player, right, has made 100% difference to everything that we do. Even when he's not in possession, he makes a difference. Like I said, the way he runs off the ball, he creates havoc, right? And they know he's coming, but they just can't do anything about it because he's 1 step ahead of them, or even 2 steps ahead of them in his brain. Yeah, and that's what he's a bit like Sheringham, but with a bit more pace. You know, because Sheringham was very instinctive as well, but he knows where everybody is. Yeah.
Do you know what? I always get in trouble, Ellie. Whenever, like, I'm sure we'll do this. Savva in trouble. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm sure we'll do this a lot during the charity stream where people talk about their best Spurs 11 from the Premier League year and stuff. I always put Teddy in there because for me, I know people literally in this era, people like the newer generation just go, "Oh, but look at his goals and." I remember watching Sheringham light up the lane for years and years and years and years with that. Supremely intelligent footballer that was doing what Kane was doing before Kane made it popular, the dropping deep. That was Sheringham. And both Shearer and Klinsmann have both said the best striker they've ever played with is Teddy Sheringham. Now, I don't know about you. I seem to remember Shearer and Klinsmann being quite good footballers, right? Like they were quite good goal scorers, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. Maddison finds those pockets. But what I'm seeing him do now, which I didn't see as much at Leicester, granted, I didn't watch Leicester 90 minutes week in, week out. He drifts so wide, like even to the halfway line to collect the ball and start off moves. And then does the old, remember the old, this seems to have been a thing of the past, the old give and go. Do you remember when it used to be give and go and it was so simple? I just love him. I think this is everything we've been missing since Eriksen, Kate. Everything since Eriksen and more. I think he's just class.
He is. I've just got to say what a player Teddy was. Oh my God. I used to love watching him for Man United because he's just class.
Shall I get him there? Shall I get him there? Shall we get Teddy there? In a Man U shirt?
No.
And Bobby Kane even called his cat after him.
Yeah, Teddy Sheringham cat. That's it.
Did he? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, Maddison he's just everywhere. He's like, you watch it, and he's everywhere, and he, like you say, he knows exactly what to do, and he's quick to pass the ball. But I think a lot of it already with Ange is the players seem to know where the others are going to be.
Yeah, it's all right, Steve. It's all right, Steve. It's all right. One of them's already asked me for your number, so don't worry about it. It's all good, mate. It's all good.
Yeah, they seem to already have developed. Like a couple of times I saw them quick pass and they knew exactly who would be running forward and exactly where they'd be on the pitch. And to think that's been done in a matter of weeks, I just think it's so impressive what Ange has done already.
I agree. When comments like this, wasn't I one of the people asking for Solomon to play? Like, honestly, I could literally come on here and I could say, do you know what? Lionel Messi is the best player in the world. People would be going to other channels going, Savva just doesn't rate Lionel Messi. Like, I feel like what I say into this mic changes by the time it goes into the YouTube algorithm. I have no idea what these people are saying.
You could say oranges are pink, right? And everybody would say you said oranges are green.
It's just madness, just madness. Are we, listen, this is a big leap in what I'm about to say here. Are we gearing up towards seeing Sonny down the middle, Solomon left, and Brennan Johnson as the right side? Are we gearing up to seeing a brand new forward three as opposed to Kulu each week on the right? Do you think that's where, like, because otherwise, Ellie, you know, for a club like Spurs to spend £47 million on a winger when you've already gone and bought Kulu, do you think we're going to see that? Because we're not a team that can rotate, right? And what I mean by that is we've got one game a week. So what do you reckon is going to happen there? Do you think Kulu's going to keep his place? Do you think Johnson's going to come in immediately?
You know what? Ange Postecoglou's got a big headache there. Because
Right.
Kulu, right, he hasn't been the same player and he hasn't really set the ground running. He hasn't set the stadium alight, has he, at White Hart Lane or away. He's been okay, but he hasn't really done anything that's impressed me. So maybe Postecoglou, I think he will start him over Kulu. If he's got he'll give him a try and see how he goes, right? And then he'll weigh it up. Who's my best 11? Because that's a new player coming into the fold that can add a lot more pace than Kulu can. But can he add the other things that Kulu can add? Because Kulu, however, he's not particularly slow, but he hasn't got that burst of pace to get past the player. But he does other things. He nurtures the ball. He keeps the ball. He's strong. You know, he's an intelligent footballer as well. But we just haven't seen those same levels. Because like a lot of people say he's been found out. I don't think he's been found out. What I think is that he makes the wrong choices. And he's trying too hard to impress because he hasn't reached those levels. And he wants to reach those levels again. And like Richie, who won't reach those levels. He won't. He tries too hard. Yeah. Just relax, Kulu, and go into your game. Because we know you've got the minerals. You just got to show it more. Yeah. But he's got a big headache now.
You're right. I think that listen, I know Kulu grabbed the goal the other day, you know, a few yards out. I'm not knocking that. Every goal's a goal. But I do feel he's the one out of the 11 where you look at and you just, I don't know, I'm not impressed by. Like, I watch Vicario and he seems to be growing every game. Right? Not that he did anything wrong in the first place. I think he was given a huge raw deal because his name's not David Raya, basically. Porro seems to be coming on leaps and bounds every game. Van der Ven and Romero, that partnership looks to be really, really good. But, a couple of ropey moments in the first half against Burnley, but listen, they've only just started playing together. The doggy is impressing everyone. Sarr's impressing everyone. Bissouma's brilliant. Maddison's brilliant. Sonny moving into the middle. Solomon hasn't hardly played. When he has, he's created. Then you've got Kulu, who's the one for me where I just think, I don't know. I'm not saying he's done anything wrong. I don't think he's done anything right. It just feels like like Ellie said, Kate, is it a case of trying too hard? Could it be a case that he doesn't fit this style of play? Or is it that he just needs to settle down a little bit? Maybe he needs to be taken out the team for Brennan Johnson for a while and get that bit of hunger to win your place back? What do you make of Kulu?
Yeah, I just don't think he fits the system. I think he's too slow and he's so predictable. He does the same thing all the time. I personally cannot wait to see Brennan Johnson come in for him because he's so versatile. He can defend, he can go forward, he can score, he can assist, and he's so quick. And that's why I think you notice Kulu, because everyone on that pitch is fast. They're bobbing about everywhere. But then Kulu seems to slow the play down. He's so sluggish and so predictable. You just know when he gets the ball, what's he going to do? Whereas I think once you bring in Johnson, you're going to see speed everywhere, all over the pitch. And I think he's going to give us that option that we don't have with Kulu. I mean, Kulu come in and I thought he looked great his first season. But for me, like Richarlison, he needs some time on the bench, and I think bring Johnson through. I really have got a really good feeling about Brennan Johnson, massively good feeling.
Yeah, I've been skeptical about the Brennan Johnson thing, and my biggest question is he all pace, no technique? Now that's something that we'll see answered, but I am at the stage where I'm more than happy for this man to come straight in and go above Kulu, because it's difficult, right? Like to Ellie's point earlier, when you look at Richarlison, look at Kulu. With Richarlison, I don't think we've ever seen it, right? I'll be honest, I've never been impressed. I don't care. Watching him for Brazil, watching him for Everton, Watford, I've never watched him and gone, that's a player Savva likes. Not that I talk to myself in the third person, but you know what I mean? I've never felt like this is who I like as a footballer. I like the Maddisons. I like the Sheringham's. I like these players, right? Mm-hmm. With Kulu, it's difficult because you can see there's a technical player in there. There's some real good technical ability, but I think it's a mishmash of what you've both said. I think, as Ellie said, he's trying too hard, and Kate said, I feel like it's become predictable. You kind of know what he's going to do. Solomon, by the way, before anyone says, I'm not saying he's a better player, but what I've seen so far, he's not predictable. He can go on the outside, he can come on the inside, he can go right foot, left foot. He's quick, he's tricky. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a good problem to have, right? I'm not knocking, it's a good problem to have. I just wonder whether Johnson's going to come straight in. I really do. Surely you don't pay 47 million.
I'd like to add something about Kulu, what I've noticed, right? There's players, right, who can slow the game down. Sheringham slowed the game down. Hoddle slowed the game down. But if you've got that technical ability, you should be using it more.
Yeah.
And he's flattered to deceive, right? All right, he hasn't got pace. You can forgive him that. But if he produces like he was when he first came, you'd overlook that, because every other fan was overlooking it, Savva, because he was producing. So there's nothing wrong with slowing the game down as long as you're productive and you're using that skill to slow the ball down and slow the game down to the benefit of the team.
Listen, absolutely. Sorry, Kate, I'll bring you in here. I don't think there's anything wrong with players that slow it down. You can't have everyone that plays at breakneck speed, right? No. I just feel that if you are going to be that guy that slows it down, you've got to be influential.
Cool.
When the players you've mentioned there, Kate, like, Ellie, the players you mentioned there, like Hoddle, like Sheringham, even like a Maddison, when these guys slow the game down, they've got a plan. Like, you can see why they've slowed it down. When I watch Kulu slow it down, he slows it down, comes inside, and a 5-yard pass. And it's like, okay, well, you could get a young kid from the youth team to go and do that with instructions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we've gone and bought him, then gone and bought another right winger on top of that for 40. So between them, we've spent, what's that, best part of 80 million on the two of them. And I'm just really interested to see what's going to happen there. If we were in Europe, Kate, I'd say, well, look, you've got loads of games. You can pick and choose, but you're not. So someone's going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I see Dan E try to call me out here. I was asked to check stats on the speed of 3 players: Bissouma, Kulu, and someone else. And Bissouma come out third out of the 3. Oh, and Bentancur. And he come out third as the speed. It was Bentancur, Kulu, Bissouma. Right? So he's saying, oh, you're saying that Kulu's faster than Bissouma. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just going by what the stats said on the internet. So you can call me out as much as you like. It weren't me that said it. But anyway, for me, I think Ange, this is what I love about
hang on. Let me get that around my head. Sorry. So it was Bentancur, Kulu, and Bissouma.
Yeah, it was their top speed. And Bissouma came out third of the 3.
Right. Just before you go on to the next point, can I just say, when I see these sort of stats fly around, I think people confuse top speed with what you do with a ball at top speed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had kids at school that were really, really quick. It didn't mean they were very good at football. They were just really, really quick. I'm not saying Bentancur's not good, by the way, but Bissouma at his top speed driving forward with the ball is better than the other 2 with the ball at top speed.
Exactly.
Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think what you do with the ball.
Yeah.
So it all came about because Dan said that he thinks that Bissouma is twice the player that Bentancur is, and I thought that was a bit OTT. I don't agree with that statement. But anyway, going back to what I was going to say, I think it'll be interesting to see. Ange will rotate it depending on the opposition, I assume. I think Kulu can do a job for us. I think he can do a job for us, but he would not be my first choice. But we've bought him now, so we can't just keep him on the bench. So it'll be down to Ange. I mean, I trust in him to decide which players fit for which game. Do you know what I mean? It's like Brennan Johnson. He can play forward if needed.
Yeah.
So, I said to Jim, it's so hard to predict what Angie's going to do, because although everyone moans about our window, and it has been crap in the fact that we haven't got any defenders in other areas, we've got like an array of riches to choose from. And I can't wait to see how he moves everyone about to give everyone a game, because I think it's going to be fascinating to see what he does.
Yeah, and then you got people like this, Ellie, that are saying Johnson needs to wait his turn. Sure, people have to fight for their place, but do you drop your biggest signing of the summer? You drop on the last day of the window. The world's been telling us this is Ange's number 1 target. Does that player then come in and we sit him on the bench behind a player that's not actually doing a lot? I could understand if it was a playmaker and you're going, hang on, you're not getting above Maddison. But Kulu's not done anything to suggest that Johnson shouldn't start, has he?
No, not really. No, I agree with that. But I think what Ange would have done, he would have done his due diligence on this player, like his attitude. He'll be looking at him in training as well. If he shows him that right attitude and the willingness to come into the team and make a difference, he will look at him more so than Kulu, because he's looking for a certain type of player to carry us even better than what we're doing now. So we go that extra step up, and he'll be working with him as well. I'm sure Ange will know that his passing stats are not that great, right? So he'll be working on that part of his game. That's one thing Ange Postecoglou is. He's very diligent when it comes to selecting players. And then when he works with them, you've seen it at Celtic, he brings nobodies and he makes them into superstars. And they're like wanted by bigger clubs, right? And, he gels those players as well to work together as a team. That's very important, because you can have individuals, right? But if you're not working as a team, you're not half as effective. And that's what I've seen, a big difference in our play as well. And I'm sure Brennan Johnson's going to fit in that mould, where he's going to mould him into that team. So not just to create extra pace, to create extra chances, to create different things for our team, give us a different angle to go with. you know.
Yeah,
so I'm very excited because he's got a very big headache now.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice headache to have. Tell you what would be a nice headache to have would be if I could get some likes on the show. I've brought on two wonderful guests. We're having a great chat, and under 40% of you have smashed that like button. Come on, people. Very rude. And we've had one subscriber in 58 minutes. That is terrible. Smash the subscribe button, people. Keep liking. Let's do it. Let's get as many people subscribed and liked for when we have the charity event of the weekend. Yeah, lots of people talking about, you know, football is a squad game, not a first team game. Of course. Becomes harder to do that, though, when you are only in the league. Let's be fair, between now and the end of January, we only play once a week in the league. So it becomes a lot harder to have 6 or 7 players that all play up top, because that means 3 or 4 are not going to get a game. And then it's about management of keeping said players happy. Let's talk about, I want to move on. I should probably get these super chats and then we'll talk about a couple of other players. 7_SC, very clever, getting the 7 into the word 7, even though that's not how 7 is spelled. I like that. I said, enjoying this stream. Big up, Savva and ladies. Big up to you as well. Thank you. Always very generous, and a YouTube channel member to boot. Along with that, we've got Nige from Pure Coys. If you don't follow Nige, please do. Go and follow his TikTok videos. He's very diligent in his assessment. He speaks really, really well, and he's a lot calmer than somebody like myself. And he's got a lovely beard. So big up, Savva and ladies. No work this weekend, so looking forward to the 24-hour live stream. Yeah, I always enjoy the first 15 hours of them, and then the last 9 hours is like, right, okay, how do we keep them open? But yeah, big up to you, Nige, much appreciated, mate. Off the back of that, Mark Cook, who's a channel member, has said, great show as always, Savva. Come on, you Spurs. Big up to you. Big up to the Mickey van der Ven love as well. Paul Shepherd just coming in with a super sticker. Big up to you, Paul. Again, another channel member who's so supportive. So big up to you. And then a super chat here from Tarek. Big up to you, Tarek. If I'm right, I don't think I've seen you around in here lately. That's not a chat up line, by the way. It's not how I start the wooing. Where have you been? Big up, Tarek has said, good morning. Maddison for you is like KDB for City, but I think your most important player in the system is Bissouma, as is City for Rodri. From a neutral fan who loves free-flowing football. Listen, Tarek, it's as if the gods have aligned. This is who I wanted to talk about. It was Bissouma. And thank you so much for your generosity. Much appreciated. And welcome to Football Heritage TV. And thank you to all the people that did not like being called rude by Kate, because 45 of you took that as a telling off and then did like. And 3 people then took that as a telling off and did subscribe. So well done, Kate. Yeah. Kate the teacher. Look, that's a really good point that Tarek made there. Look, for me, I say Maddison's our best player just because, look, I mean, I think he's brilliant. That's my type of player. And just because every year for 5 years, I've been beating this same drum. I don't care what we sign. Get a playmaker, get a playmaker, get a playmaker. But Bissouma is just different gravy. And I think the point he made is right. Rodri is my favourite player in the Premier League. If I take my Spurs hat off, I think Rodri is the sort of footballer that you have to sit back and just acknowledge, wow, this man runs every game of football to his tempo. Like he's the Xavi, you know, he's the Busquets. And Bissouma's starting to show that. Bissouma quickens up our tempo. Bissouma slows down our tempo. He knows when to slow it down, go quick. He knows when to drift out wide. He knows when to drive with the ball or sit. I mean, how good is this guy, Ellie? How good is Bissouma?
I love him. I think he's like, I go on about Højbjerg, but this guy, he makes Højbjerg look like Johnny Pratt. If anybody remembers Johnny Pratt.
Yeah, I remember Johnny Pratt.
But I can't argue with it, right? Because Bissouma, when he first came to the club, Conte didn't fancy him. He hardly got a game. When he did get a game, he got dropped and it dented his confidence. But now he's been given a free rein in that midfield. He's like the heart of our team, right? So you've got Maddison who's pulling all the strings, and you've got Bissouma. I nearly said Højbjerg again there. Bissouma, right? He's just class.
Yeah,
He reminds me of a lot of Dembele.
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. I think he's better than Dembele. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
That's a big one.
No, I'm going to tell you why. And this isn't based off of 4 games, because I think what we're seeing now is the reason everyone got excited when we signed him. This is the Bissouma we saw at Brighton. Yeah, and for me, what I think this guy gives you is not only a fantastic engine, right? I think he gives you the driving forward, the tracking back. What I think I've seen as well from him, he loves a duel in the air. You watch him. He's not a massive guy. He loves a duel in the air. I don't know. Listen, I love Dembele. I don't know. It's a big statement. It's a really big statement from me there, isn't it? Hang on. I'm reeling myself back in.
I'll put him on a par.
I just think he could be as influential, if not more. Moussa Dembele was a massive loss, and it's a shame that injuries kind of stopped him from going to bigger and better things in his career, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I just think Bissouma's. I just think this guy's awesome. Kate, what do you make of Yves Bissouma?
Oh, I just think. He started the season off, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this guy is just like whoa!" And although he's not been bad at all. The last couple of games, he's not been as mind-blowing as he was in the first 2. But I just think it's the little touches he does. Like you say, he wins the ball in the air. If he loses the ball, he's straight back and winning it back.
Yeah.
I just think he's incredible. I mean, if we was to go out and buy someone like that now, you've got to be looking at £100 million plus, easy. He's just an incredible player. Absolutely incredible.
Well, when you look what they're going for, Kate, you look, Declan Rice went for 105. Moises Caicedo has gone for 115. You know, the price in this market right now, let's be fair, we got him when he had a year left. Because Brighton are the masters of, you watch, the next one will be Evan Ferguson. You watch when they sell that lad, and everyone's going to be after him because there's a shortage of strikers in world football. They'll go 120, 130. Like they're just going to. So, you're right. What a great signing.
I think he's got the potential to be one of the best midfielders in the league, if not top 2 or 3. I just think he is phenomenal. And to think we got him for 25 million, and what Conte did to him last season is criminal. But it shows his strong character to come back from that, and he's just now showing. It's like he's putting his middle finger up and saying, "Look, this is what you've missed out on. This is what I can do." And thank God that he's doing it, because he's just been incredible.
Yeah. Listen, just quickly, I just wondered, where is this, Colin? Where have we seen such information? I've just checked Romano and Ornstein and can't see anything. Where are we? We're going to talk about this in a minute, but where are we seeing this information? Obviously, this is in relation. We'll come to this in a minute, ladies. So get your thinking caps on for this one. This is in relation to Galatasaray, because the Turkish transfer window is still open. Where have you seen this? Because Romano's tweeting right now about Galatasaray, but it's not about Spurs. It was about Vecino. The Vecino deal is off. He's not going to Galatasaray. And obviously he's announced that Ramos has now joined Seville from a free transfer, where it all started from him. Not a bad career, that lad.
Champions League group as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Come on, Ramos.
So Ramos is about to go and spend his time living and playing with Eric Lamela. Well done to him. Good luck to him. Look, Bissouma's brilliant, and I think what people have got to realise, to your point there, Kate, is when players aren't going to give you a 9 out of 10 every game. There's very few players that stand out every game. We're talking about little geniuses; they do that. But this guy's come in and just. Our midfield has just been completely transformed. I'm not going to go into Ellie's, mate, but our midfield has been truly transformed. And it's no surprise that the 2 players that have transformed it in Bissouma and Sarr, they've got legs. And I know this guy will be taking the piss out of me immediately, because I always say that I like players with legs. But I think it's everything in this style of football. You have got to have an engine, and you have got to be able to get around that park and tackle and track back. And Sarr and Bissouma seem to have that in an abundance, don't they?
Yes. Especially Sarr, because he's fast as well, and his legs are like giraffe legs.
They're long.
Yeah, they're really long, and he's very technically astute as well. You know, he knows where he should be on the pitch and how he can aid the team. You know, he's very clever for his age. I think he's only 20.
He's 20 years of age.
He's still learning the game, but he's going to learn very quick with midfielders like Bissouma and Maddison to play with. Yeah,
definitely. And I think the key thing is, surely, Kate, with a player like Sarr, I think we've got to remember that he is 20. Yeah. And I think people have got to remember as well that this isn't a player that we've seen play loads, right? So, and where I'm going with this is, again, you know, when I use the word consistency, but I also use the word patience with young players like that, that this isn't a guy that we saw get loads and loads of minutes last year. I remember he played against AC Milan because we had no one fit, him and Skip. Remember? It was him and Skip that played against AC Milan. I think he played, I want to say, the last 25, 30 minutes against Crystal Palace away when we won 4-0. Yeah. Other than that, I saw a few cameo appearances, and then obviously the difficult game away at Newcastle, which we've all tried to put out of our minds, which he was kind of the scapegoat and was taken off early. Other than that, I feel like I've seen fans go generational, Patrick Vieira, like he's going to be this, that. Are we already doing what we normally do and setting players up to the point where we make them so good before they've had time to prove it, that the moment they're not good, we're going to then berate them and want to bring them down to a harsh reality?
Yeah, I mean, it is natural for football fans to do it. I try not to get carried away by. I mean, someone once said that Bissouma was better than Moussa Dembele, and I just this is what I mean. People just talk nonsense on YouTube. Not mentioning any names, Savva. He completely missed that, didn't he? It completely went over his head.
I heard it.
I was actually one of the people, I'm not going to lie, that sort of was like, I don't understand why everyone's going on about Sarr being this good. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything that makes me think that. But this season, he just looks so mature for his age. And I don't think he's there yet, but already he's shown he's a whole level above Skip. And that's because you can't teach that natural ability. So he's got such a high ceiling of what he can achieve. But the thing is, like you say, it's not to get too carried away. Don't put pressure on the lad. Let him develop his game. But he's blessed in the fact that he's got good people around him now, including the players that he can trust in midfield to allow him to develop that game. Do you know what I mean? Our midfield now looks phenomenal, really strong. He has got people that if he did make a mistake, that are quick there that can help him out. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the likes of Højbjerg. Sorry, Ellie.
Yeah. Look, I feel, Ellie, look, it is crazy how quickly that three have cemented themselves as that's the three. And then from where you look from where it was. But listen, it is really good. Listen, I want to talk about a few things. We've got the by the way, I should just say that my wife has just messaged me and said that she has just bought because she knows I won't spend money. She has just bought a James Maddison shirt from the official club shop for an auction for the charity stream. So she's bought she said she bought it in large because like people would probably rather have it a little bit too baggy than they would too small and figure hugging. And she's probably thinking of me there. And we'll auction that off on Saturday for the charity stream. So that'll be good. So number 10, it's got 10 on the back, Maddison on the back. So
what's your wife's name?
I'm not going to say on stream.
All right.
I've done it on stream before, and then she starts getting weird requests on Instagram.
All right. That's wife, big up.
Yeah, it's weird when people who don't know her start trying to add her on Instagram. When her Instagram is her Instagram is her. My Instagram is nothing about. There's no pictures of food. There's no, hey, look at me at there. It's football. I don't even run it. I don't even run my own Instagram. So it's not me. It's not me. All right.
I understand.
It's football. Look, when we're saying this Sanchez news broke last night, who is breaking this officially? Ladies, have you seen this anywhere?
I've seen a few bits on Irish Hotspur, on the WhatsApp and a few other chats, but nothing really concrete. Just that there's rumours. It's not coming from any major sources though. What I've seen.
Yeah, I can't see anything definite. I can see that there's lots of talks and what's going on. Look, let's talk about this, right? We've got we've got until I believe the 14th of September to register a 25-man squad. So that's going to be the headache I say the headache. I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he knows already. There are going to be people that miss out on this squad. There are going to be people. With that in mind, it starts all these discussions that Galatasaray want Lo Celso and they want Sanchez, and we've got to trim the squad. And what does he do here? Who misses out? At the moment, it definitely looks like Eric Dyer is not in favour, but there needs to be a couple more than Eric Dyer, right, that don't make the 25, Ellie. So what does he do here?
So I don't know. It's a hard question to answer because I'm not Ange Postecoglou. But if I was him and I was managing, I would definitely keep out Dyer. He'd be my first one off the list, right? And then obviously you've got to look at Sanchez because he hasn't performed, the boy. He's let us down quite often. And do you know what? A lot of people say Davies should be kept in that 25. I don't agree. I've never liked Davies. I think he's bog standard and he's not good. And do you know what? I wouldn't even put my man Højbjerg in it because he's lost interest. You can see it. So why put him in the 25? The problem is, I know
he will be though, right? He
probably will be because of the if we get an injury in midfield, we need somebody else to come in. But Brennan Johnson's here. He can play a midfield role as well. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I think there's certain players that shouldn't be in there. Obviously, Tanganga's gone, hasn't he? Rodon's gone. I can't think of anyone else who I really, really want out of the squad.
I can.
I mean, listen. I'm gonna show you.
I wouldn't put Richie in it either.
I'm going to show you something in a minute, like before Sean receipts it. I'll show you in a minute. But first of all, this is where people are seeing the news. Apparently, a football fan cast. I haven't read this article yet, so we can read it together, which is always good fun for everyone to do things together. So, Davinson Sanchez transfer update. The central defender has made just one Premier League appearance this season. Postecoglou has brought some much-needed ruthlessness to Tottenham, blah, 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 blah. The Lily Whites, blah, 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 blah. What's the latest transfer news? According to journalist Rudy Galletti, one of those players will likely be centre-back Davinson Sanchez with a deal close to being agreed with Galatasaray to sell the defender. As per Galletti, the final details of a transfer fee are being discussed and a full agreement is expected soon. Davinson Sanchez from Tottenham to Galatasaray is almost done. Just the last details under discussion. Right. Now, this was a conversation that got a lot of heat last night. There was a lot of controversy as to whether or not this should happen. I think it was very much split down the middle as well. I think me and Kuva were very much of the opinion of, I've seen this guy for 7 years. I'm like you, Ellie. I've seen this guy let us down time and time and time again. I think he is atrocious. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think he'd even be one of the better centre backs in the Championship. I think he's awful. I would let him go. But then the point is, well, if we let him go, what have we got in reserve if Van de Ven or Romero or God forbid both got injured? What do we do? Do you sell him to Galatasaray now and then hope that Spurs have someone lined up for January?
Is that to me or Ellie? Sorry.
Either of you, but both of you can go. Fight over it. It's fine.
Go on, Kate.
Oh, okay. I mean, for me, first of all, I wouldn't have Ndombele, Lloris, Sessegnon, Dyer, any of them in the 25. Sanchez, I detest him. I think he's appallingly bad. The question last night was, if you had to have Dyer or Sanchez, who do you pick? Now, if I'd say neither, like you did, but if you had to, I would have to choose Sanchez over Dyer. But to me, I would rather Phillips get a chance. He's only a kid. And there must be someone in our academy, worse ways. There must be kids we can bring up, surely, than keep recycling this absolute deadwood that we're in, season in, season out, season in, season out. Whatever we can get for Sanchez, if they truly want him, I'd let him go, because otherwise we're going to be stuck with him, and he's another one who's going to go on a free. You know, Dyer makes me sick to the stomach. He bleeds Spurs, but he's holding out so that he can get his big sign-on fee. What I would love to see is no one coming for him at all. That's what I would love to see. But yeah, I mean, I would rather play a youngster than have either Dyer or Sanchez anywhere near that squad, because their influence on the team as well. They're toxic, you know. They don't care. I mean, I know Sanchez was celebrating, but he's just not good enough. It doesn't matter what happens. He's just not good enough. He falls over his own feet. You know what I mean? He's just not good enough.
It's difficult, isn't it, Ellie? Because look, I understood, for example, what Sean was saying yesterday, that no matter how bad he is, he's maybe our third best defender. But the problem is, surely if we keep going along this route, then we never sell any of them. Like, surely if a club comes in and bids for a player that has let us down year after year after year, and we turn down cash for that player just so that they can possibly cover, I mean, I don't see other clubs doing this. I don't see, you know, Chelsea will get rid of their players that aren't involved in the first. They will sell. But the difference is they act and buy. And for me, this could have all been dealt with, Ellie, by Spurs going and buying another centre-half in this transfer window. We wouldn't be having these conversations, would we?
No, we wouldn't. I mean, they bought Phillips, but he's an 18-year-old kid. But I would still put him in front of Sanchez and Dyer to see what he can do. That's how bad it is when you're relying on an 18-year-old kid. But he's a very talented kid, right? Don't get me wrong, because I saw your chat with Sean with where you put it out to the chat, who would you rather have, Dyer or Phillips? And everybody voted Phillips.
Phillips, yeah. Everyone's done with them. Everyone's done with him.
We're done with them. We've had heartache after heartache of seeing their dross. They're non-defending. You know, they don't defend. I think there was one guy who went to the training ground and he was speaking to somebody, and they said Dyer does not put in tackles. So I looked up his stats. He doesn't tackle. He just stands there like a lummox.
He points a lot. He points a lot. He shouts a lot.
He doesn't do anything, right? So yeah, I'd rather see Dorrington and Phillips be our backup, because at least they're hungry and at least they've got their technical skill, right? Because I've seen Dorrington play. He's very accomplished defender. I haven't seen much of Phillips, only what I've seen on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I can't put my hat on him and say, yeah, he's going to be the real deal. But he's a lot better, what I've seen, the way he controls the ball, the way he commands the defence. I've seen what he can give. Yeah, so put him in.
You got to remember as well, Ellie, sorry, I was just going to say, Ledley King debuted for us at about 19, something like that. He made his debut at Tottenham, only a young kid. So I just think they deserve a chance.
He was, yeah.
I just think for me, it's kind of like, I get it, right? I get that sticking in Davinson. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I get that sticking in Davinson Sanchez is not a risk from the point of view that it's not a risk because we know what we're going to get. Like, the risk for me is what you're going to get mistakes, right? It's just it's just who he is, a footballer. For me, I would rather see an Ashley Phillips come in, maybe make us the same couple of mistakes, but at least you know that he's an 18-year-old for the future. I don't buy into this subscription as well. Everyone was hyping up Davinson Sanchez from the Barcelona game. If we want to be if we really want to take away our emotion from this, if anyone actually watches back that Barcelona game, in play, right, where we didn't concede, he made some good tackles, right, which we're all going, oh, he had a really good game. It's what a defender should do, right? He made some good tackles. He made some blocks. If you actually go back and watch all 4 goals, he's dreadful. Now, forgive me I've not been a pro footballer, but surely all football fans understand that if you are conceding 4 goals and you are one of the 2 centre-backs, likelihood is you're going to have had a mare. And every time the ball was whipped into the box, him and Dyer were just, they don't know how to mark. They weren't strong. And everyone's going, oh, he had a really good game. No, he didn't. And then against Brentford. He was out of position a number of times when Mbomo got in behind him. He came into midfield and clattered someone for no reason and got a yellow card. You know, I hate defenders doing that. But all of a sudden now it's, well, he's the best of the rest. We've got to keep him. No. For me, get this. I want. If anyone's offering me 5 million, 4 million, I think this guy is crap.
Yeah.
I'd ask you this: does he get into the top teams in the Championship?
No.
Right now,
he's a
right now, go. Let's have a look. So let's have a look who's at the top of the Championship, right? Shall we? So if we look at the Championship, right, I'm looking at Leicester City, who are right up there, and in their last game, Leicester City's back two was Wout Faes and Vestergaard. I don't think Sanchez is better than them. I don't think he's worse. I don't think he's better.
No.
Right? That's the level we're talking about there. Southampton. Right? Southampton's back two. I don't even know who they are, by the way. I'm just going to wing this. Southampton's back two of Bednarek and Dale Stevens.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is the sort of level we're at.
Yeah.
That's the level we're at.
I think
show you something.
In Lincoln City, you want to know the truth.
I agree. I sent this to one of my groups yesterday, and I don't mind. Here you go. I'll clip myself saying this, right? I sent this, right? I don't know if you can see that. I said I would not be upset to see any of them go. I don't mean all in one window because obviously it's never going to happen. But that list, just to be clear, is Hugo Lloris, Whiteman, Austin, Forster, Royale, Spence, Roden, Tanganga, Dyer, Sanchez, Sessegnon, Davis, Skip, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Ndombele, Hill, Perisic, Richarlison. That's 19 footballers. Now add Troy Parrott onto that. That's 20 footballers. I don't care. Now, what I get back is, you want to sell everyone. Well, yeah, because a lot of those players have been here for many years while we've been crap. So, look, I'm clipping myself with that. But do you guys see where I'm coming from?
Is Lo Celso on that list?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of him either.
I agree. Yeah, another one.
That boy.
Yeah,
he's not strong enough either on the ball. He loses it quite a lot.
I agree.
Trouble is,
he only uses his left foot.
We've given these bang average players ridiculous wages and contracts, and now they won't go because they're getting paid for doing nothing. Yeah. And it's obscene. It's obscene. They're stealing a living and they're absolute cretins as far as I'm concerned. So any money we get for any of them, get them out.
Yeah. I mean, the Lo Celso one's an interesting because apparently there's a bid on the table from Galatasaray as well. Apparently being the biggest word in football. But I don't know about you. I would sell him. And everyone saw him have 2 45-minute appearances against West Ham's B team and the Lions City Sailors, and went, this guy's gonna challenge Maddison for it. No, he's not. Like what are we talking about? He's not. You know,
they said on Sky Sports News this morning that a bid came in for Lo Celso and Ange blocked it. So that says to me that if that is true, that he sees him in the squad. But I don't know how true that is, but I don't get the hype with him.
He's got to keep some midfielders, hasn't he? He has to keep them.
I think he's got. I think he's got to keep them because of the African Cup of Nations and because of injuries. But I'll be honest, if in isolation any of these players are bid for, I don't care. If they're not in that 11, I don't care anymore. I've had enough of them. I just think we need to be ruthless, guys. I think you look at Arsenal, you look at Liverpool, you look at Chelsea, these clubs get rid of players that haven't worked. And we've kept players like Lo Celso 5 years, Ndombele 5 years, Davis 10 years, Sanchez 7 years, Lloris 12 years, Sessegnon 5 years. Like Lucas Moura was here for 5 or 6 years. Like
we need to set up a retirement home, not a hotel there, and then we can just put them all in a home. When we come, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Ndombele makes my blood boil. And the worst thing is these players like Ndombele, sorry, Ellie, but Højbjerg, they get offered to these teams and a deal's agreed and they turn their nose up and say they want to play Champions League. Like they think they're the best thing since sliced bread. Do they not realise they're poor? I know that's a real bone of contention, but Højbjerg, they reckon that if he'd have gone to
player, though, he's not a poor player. He's not the best player, but he's not a poor player. He just does what he says.
Yeah, but he's not Champions League level.
He's not spectacular.
But they said that Højbjerg had gone to Fulham, then Polinia would have gone to Bayern, and we would have got Gallagher. It was that chain of events. That's why it all fell apart. And that infuriates the life out of me because they're holding our squad back and I can't bear it.
With Højbjerg, I don't think he wants to go to Fulham because he doesn't see them at his level. That's it. He thinks he's better than that. Right, but you might not agree. But he's at Spurs. Why would he go to Fulham?
Yeah, listen, I get that.
Wait for a better club to come in,
especially when he was in talks with Atletico Madrid. You know, Atletico Madrid to Fulham is going to be
for your drop off, isn't it?
For your ego, right? For your ego.
For your ego.
Yeah, of course.
He was a first teamer, and now he's been benched, so his ego's been dented already. But the thing is with Højbjerg, everybody digs him out that he's some crap player. He's not a crap player. He's not the best. No, he's not a best footballer, but he does a job, you know. And everybody says I'll big him up. I dig him out as well. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
I don't dig him up like he's some hero. Somebody said that I think he's a hero. No, he's not. He's just an average player.
I've probably said that about you.
Yeah, no, I don't worship him. I just think sometimes I wind people up as well.
I think it's because you've got his name in your handle, right? Like, and I think it's like when people come on, like we get a guy come on called Sacanelli, and it's like Saka's world class. Like, well, of course your handle is Sacanelli. Like, of course it's gonna.
And also, me, Dave, and Jack love him. Right, because you know the first season when Jose bought him, he fitted that system. Yeah, he actually fitted that system. He was very good that first season. That's when I started liking him because I didn't really watch him at Southampton, but then I met him and I thought, what a gentleman. You know, everybody's got their favourites for different reasons, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, International Observer, thanks for letting me know that it's not my call. If that's the case, we may as well shut up all football YouTube channels and never have a debate. I mean, if every sentence ended with, well, but it's up to Ange, what would be the point in us having these conversations? And we know it's up to Ange, but
yeah, we've still got our opinions, haven't we?
Exactly. Listen, we're going to go, as long as you ladies are okay, we're going to go for another 15 minutes until 10-2. Then Perch, you go at 12. Smash that like button, people. There's still over 500 of you in here. We should be at a minimum of 450 likes, and we're only at 344. And keep subscribing. Let's get at least to 10,830. Let's get 2-3 more. Hey, let's do that. Tony Williams said, unfortunately, Savva, you are spot on. Club isn't cutthroat enough. Yeah, listen. Look, unfortunately, listen. I'm not blaming Ange for this. By the way, this has been a problem that has been brewing and built for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of hoarding players. Like last year, whose decision was it to give Ben Davies another year on a 2-year contract that he already had? Like who said 2 years isn't enough? Let's add another one. It's just mind blowing. But yeah, look. So we've got that going on. Lots of reports now saying that Sanchez has to be signed by tonight. By Galatasaray if he wants to make the Champions League squad. I suppose that will be a huge factor for him and for them if they want him, right? I just don't care. I'm shameless now. I don't want to see some of these players in a Spurs shirt again. I don't. I think he's awful. I'm going to go as far and say this. I think he's one of the worst centre-backs I've seen in my time as a Spurs fan.
Do you know,
I don't think he's good at anything.
This is another reason that money has ruined football, because once upon a time players would have moved because they want to play. They want to play football. Their careers are short and they want to play. They've got the ambition to keep playing. Now they're quite happy to sit at a club and sit on a bench or sit wherever and not do anything and get their money rather than play. And I just think if you're an elite sportsman, surely you want to be out there playing all the time. I mean, it's baffling to me. I think if you've got talent, like, I'm not being awful, but, you know, all these players that, like Ronaldo, look at him. He's late 30s. He's still bombing it up. I know he's in Saudi now.
He wants to play. Yeah.
No, and he can look back in 20 years' time when he's sitting around all these millions and billions of pounds, but know that he pushed his body and he played as much as he could. When you look at Dyer and that, all these years they've wasted, I just find it so sad, so sad.
I'd like to think, Kate's right. I mean, Ellie, I'd like to think that if I was in that situation and I know I'm not, look, the players know if they're wanted or not. And I don't mean wanted for the last 10 minutes of a game. They know if they're wanted or not. I'd like to think that by the time I've got that much money and I've got the £1 million houses and I've got the cars and, you know, they've got the wives on their arm and they've got the life of luxury, that I'd turn around and go to my agent, find me a club, find me a club where I'll play. Or I might have to drop 20, 30 grand a week, but I'm on 100 grand a week. He's going down to 70 grand a week. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't, like Kate said, it doesn't seem to be the thing, Ellie. They just seem happy to collect their money and train with the reserves. It seems mad.
I just don't get it. I mean, they're not in love with football, really. They're in love with the lira they're earning, right? Because if you're a footballer and a professional footballer, you want to play week in, week out, won't you? And if you've dropped out of the team, you'd fight for your team, for your place back in the team, right? So, I mean, I don't get it. It's just, I love football. I actually adore football, everything about it. No one's telling me that I'm not good enough. If I feel that my manager thinks I'm not good enough to play, I will work on my game until he thinks I'm good enough, right? And I'm not looking at the money. But these footballers, they've thrown so much money, Savva. It's like obscene, the money that they earn. You know, like you go back to the olden days with Jimmy Greaves, he was on £100 a week, right? And he put on that shirt and he was proud to put on that shirt. And he played for the Spurs, for the badge. All these players that just pick up their paychecks, especially Ndombele. He's the one I'm more angry with, the most angry with, because he's got all the talent and he doesn't apply it. It's not that he hasn't got talent. He has. He just doesn't want to put it out on the pitch.
I think that's the thing, Ellie. When you go, listen, I know a lot of the younger fans will probably say, you know, when certainly when I talk about watching football when I grew up, and it was an 11 with, I believe at the time there was like 2 subs or 1 sub at the time when I first started watching football, and then it grew to like 3 or 4. And you know, your medical man had a bucket of water and a sponge, and that was your, you know, he had some deep heat as well that he'd spray on if you got, you know, and you know, I've read loads of autobiographies. I've got a whole bookcase of autobiographies from footballers and football managers of the past. And one of the common themes throughout all of their autobiographies are when they move, that there's no hoo-ha. It's, I needed to move, I wasn't playing. Or a new manager came in, my face didn't fit, I wanted to be out of there immediately. Now it's almost like that pride has gone from footballers. Like, how can Ndombele, for example, when he's turning down these moves, how can he sit there and go, I'm a super talented footballer, and this is what my career, this is what my career has been between the age of 22 and 27, is not doing anything at Tottenham, having a loan spell at Napoli where he played the last 10, 15 minutes of games, coming back to Spurs, turning down clubs, and now another season where he is not going to play any football unless Saudi Arabia or Turkey, who I believe are the only 2 windows that are open, come in for him in the next 10 days or so. Like, that's the difference to me. Footballers back then wanted to play. They wanted to be involved. Now it's just too much player power. But the clubs have to take blame as well. When you put a player on a massive contract and you extend his contract, not saying all of them, but you keep extending Dyer, you keep extending Davis, you keep extending Sanchez. At what point does the club have to take the blame for giving bad players massive deals?
Yep, I agree.
I think it's Levy. It is. He's like a father figure. Like, they go up to him when they're moaning. They've got a players committee where they're moaning about everything. You know, and it's just ridiculous that he lets them get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you were somebody who said, like there's no way Dyer plays a game this year, it's obvious Ange ain't playing him based on the fact he hasn't made the bench. If you're Dyer, for the last month, are you not saying to your agent, Sorry, like, isn't this the agent's job? Go and get me a club.
Yeah.
Like, what's Dyer, 30?
Yeah, it's got to be.
He's got to be coming up to 30. This is his 10th year at Spurs, so he must be 29, 30 as a minimum. Surely, for your pride, just saying, for the last 4 or 5 years of my career, I want to go and play. I want to go and be loved by fans. I want to go and be the starting centre-back for Fulham, Burnley, I don't know, wherever would have him. But it's a shame that he's not doing that, right?
I think he's just got used to the fact that he can just sit there and take his wages. But like I say, their careers are so short. They're so short. I mean, I'm not putting myself in an elite sportsman category at all, right? Don't get me wrong. But I used to play bowling. I used to do temping bowling in a league, and I won the national championships when I was younger. But I had to stop.
Check you out.
Because of my back. Do you know what I mean? I had to stop because I've got a bad back. You know, and I look at those and I think they've got years and years and years and years to sit back and enjoy their money, enjoy their life, whatever, become pundits. Their careers are so short. You know, he was in England's international. Why is he not crying out to be back on the pitch? It's just ridiculous.
I just don't get it at all. Absolutely. Dave H remembers the magic sponge. Yeah, remember someone would come on, bit of water, and they'd be up and playing. Nowadays they go down and it's the 5th metatarsal, which I never knew existed when I was growing up, and everyone's ACL all of a sudden can't cope with playing games of football. I don't know, like, just gone mad, isn't it? I just want to quickly talk about a few other things in a second that aren't Spurs related, but before we do, Tygaro's come back in and said it is all coming together very nicely. Set up the system and prioritize your attacking options. The defense will be forfeited in January. Hashtag Angeball. Listen, I think I love it. I'm crying out for attack. But listen, as I've said all the while, Spurs will realize that we were short in the transfer window the moment we get an injury to Van der Ven or Romero, which requires them being out for longer than 1 or 2 games. Right? Yeah. That is when we will realize. And people will go, oh, hindsight. Not hindsight. The bleeding obvious, right? If you've only got 2 good centre-backs, you've got to make sure they stay fit. But listen, big up to you, Tygaro. Always appreciate your input. Paul Shepherd's come in very generous again and said, had a nightmare this weekend. Ange had steered us on 3 years of success. Then Pep and Klopp left. You're going to tell me that's life. And you're right. Will we keep him on the back of brilliance? Look, there's a lot of information there. Listen, it's the food chain, right? And this is the key thing. That's what I've said all along. When people are saying it's a work in progress, of course it's a work in progress. But unfortunately, at some point, Spurs in the next year or two, they are going to have to keep giving the manager what he wants. Or the better he does, bigger clubs will come in. Now, I'm not worried about it at the moment. He's just started his journey. But if we get to the stage where 2 years down the line and we're not making the signings that Ange needs, you will see big clubs come in for him. And that is going to be where the test will be of the owners as to do they want to back him or not. And we've been here a million times. So let's pray, Paul, that this is very far away. But listen, he's doing a great job. That's all we can say. And there's many Premier League managers who are under the spotlight at the moment. But big up to you, Paul. And lastly, Jason Mills has come in and said, morning, Savva. Morning, ladies. Come on, you Spurs. So good morning to you as well. So big ups to actually everyone for the last 4 minutes. And please smash the likes. Let's at least get to 400. It's 35 away. And 2 subscribers is all we needed to get to the 10,830. And we're stalling.
Rude.
This is just going to be a vent from me. I hate VAR. I think VAR is killing football. I don't want to hear this, oh, it's not VAR, it's the way it's used. It's VAR. There is no need for nearly all of these decisions that we're seeing in football games to have to be checked. And I'm not saying this because it was Arsenal, but yesterday, the decision like offside for Garnacho to be offside, players grew up, right, Ellie? Strikers grew up learning how to arc their runs. Right, how to keep their feet in line with the defender, but arc their bodies and get their head start. Now they can't even do that. It's killing it, isn't it? The penalty decision yesterday in that game, where the ref needed 2 minutes of VAR to look at it just for him to go and look at the screen. Isn't it killing the passion?
It does. I mean, take Arsenal out of it, it doesn't matter what team it is. It's so frustrating,
Agreed.
right? I mean, their legs are on side, but their fingertip is not.
It's mental.
Sorry to swear, but
No, you're
you
right.
know what? I just think it's ridiculous, and it kills the passion in the game.
Yeah.
You know, let the linesman call it. If he gets it wrong, he gets it wrong. So what?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Savva? There's so much money in the game now, right? It dictates, and you've got two men sitting in Stockley Park, wherever it is, right, making these decisions, and they don't make the decision three-quarters of the time because they send the bloody ref to the monitor.
Do you know what I've never understood, Ellie?
The ref to look at it about 50 times before he makes a decision.
I don't understand, right? If you're going to do this whole somebody needs to go and look at the monitor, why is the first thing not, hey, you know, this is Stockley Park, by the way. Listen, think you might need to go to the monitor and have a look at that decision. Right, he stops the game, goes and has a look. 10 seconds later, no penalty, whatever. Why have they got to look at it for 2 minutes, which must be about 20, 30, 40 times, just to then decide that they're not sure and the ref needs to make a decision? And I'll bring this back, Ellie. The whole point of VAR was for clear and obvious.
Yeah.
Like, this is killing. Every goal now is checked. Every goal line decision is checked. Every handball is checked. I went the other week, right? I went and watched Dartford play, right? Because I'm local to them. They're a good footballing team, actually. And you know what? Every goal that went in the game, every goal that went in, just a goal. Just a goal. Yeah. The fans are celebrating, and I'm going, oh, are they giving it? Oh, no, this is non-league. There's no, you know.
Oh, no.
And you go back to the Premier League, I think it's ruining it. I really do.
It really is. It's just, it takes out all the joy out of the game, because you're thinking, first of all, it goes to that Stockley Park, and then they pass it back, and then you're waiting, and then the other fans are celebrating because it's disallowed as well, which makes it even worse because they're celebrating that you haven't got a goal, so you have to put up with their fans giving it in the ear as well. Oh, disgusting, disgraceful.
I mean, Kate, what do you think? Look, listen, by the way, this wasn't a dig at Arsenal. This is every game, every week. Yeah. This is just getting ridiculous, Kate, isn't it? That even now, centre forwards can't make their runs properly.
It's just a joke. I mean, they said, like you say, first of all, it should be clear and obvious. Well, if it's clear and obvious, it should be a split-second decision because it's that clear, it's that obvious, that's it. Second of all, I thought they were changing the rules this year so that there'd be more goals, you know, thickening these lines and doing all this old crap. It's just ruined it. You go to a game and you can't celebrate because you're sat there for 2, 3, 4 minutes while they have a look and see if it's a goal. It's like they want to find something. It's like they want to rule it out.
Right. Yeah, like if you look at that penalty decision yesterday when Havertz, let's be fair, there's never a penalty in a million years. Why on earth has that taken 2 minutes at Stockley Park or 4 people at Stockley Park, 2 minutes? Then the ref needs to look at it. And I'm watching that replay going, it's never a penalty in a million. Like, it's just, there's nothing in it. Like, there's...
No, I was going to say, Jim and I were within
all angles as well.
They? And Jim and I were within 10 seconds. Sorry, Ellie.
It's all right. No, I was just going to say, they see it from every angle, Savva. So they've got more... because they zoom in, and with the offside as well, they draw the lines. Because I saw Brad Matthews, who said they drew the lines wrong, and they did that the same thing for Richarlison's goal. It would have been his first goal with a shot, right? They did this exactly the same thing, so they're making the same mistakes, which is very worrying.
I just think that football used to be such a simple game. Like, why have we made it so complicated? Like now, do you remember when handball used to be, is it deliberate or not? Like, did I actively go, boom, try and handball it? Or am I trying to defend? Nowadays, right, I watched a video the other day on a coaching seminar. A coach I used to work with at Charlton does some coaching videos, and they're really, really good. And he was showing that how he's always coached. Now, bear in mind, he's in his mid-50s. How he's always coached and how most defensive managers have always taught players to defend is you're side on. You know, defenders don't defend square on. You're side on. Naturally, when you're side on, your hands are like this. You are like that. You don't defend. Now, anytime a ball hits someone's hand, every fan goes VAR penalty, and 9 times out of 10 at the moment it's being given. And I just think it was better when some were given, some weren't. I think VAR has made it worse. I think we're now in a position where we're not eradicating bad decisions. We're not making every decision correct. It's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. And defenders, right, Savva? Defenders, right? They have their hands behind their back, which puts you off balance. And how are you supposed to turn side on with your hands behind your back? Right? It makes you imbalance. So therefore, they're making more mistakes, the defenders, because they're scared to give a handball away.
Ellie, you're spot on. Listen, we are going to wrap up in 6 seconds, but you're spot on. The art of defending now has changed. I'm seeing defenders go out and close their man on the wing, and rather than tackling, they're more worried about giving away a penalty, so they put their hands behind their backs. That's not defending. That's not defending. But listen, it is what it is. Ladies, I've thoroughly enjoyed this morning. Oh, hang on, just before I give you any credit, hang on 1 second. Tarek's come back in. Big up to Tarek. Thank you so much. Very, very generous. Said, totally disagree with you, ladies and gents. Okay. If VAR was here 5 years ago, Real Madrid deservedly would have not won at least 2 of their Champions Leagues. Not a Madrid fan. Tarek, listen, I get it. There's going to be decisions from the past where we can go, if VAR had been here. But the problem is, Tarek, we're not using it now for big decisions. It's being used for every single goal. Like every single goal now, every football fan in the country does this. I don't care who you are. You go, yes, and then your first thought is to look around, isn't it? You're looking around. Has the ref signaled anything? As VAR, what's going on? And it's slowed down what is a very simple, passionate game. It's simple.
And it's made us all more potty-mouthed as well.
Oh,
oh my God.
But do you know what? I watched Match of the Day like you lot did. And Tarek, listen, thank you so much. I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying, but I just don't think it's needed for everything. I used to watch Match of the Day, and that was the beauty, wasn't it? There'd be a few dodgy decisions and you weren't sure across all of the games. And you'd go, oh, that should have been, that shouldn't have. And it might level itself out throughout the season. Now, like I've got Sky Sports News on to my right here, right? And they've got, is it Dermot, whatever his name is?
Dermot Gallagher.
Doing ref watch. And he's literally going through, right, now let's look at this controversial decision and this decision. And I was told VAR was brought in to eradicate this, right? Like, sorry, I'm waffling now, but the best decision ever, goal line technology is superb because it's an absolute.
Definitely.
It's an absolute, right? It's over the line. It's not over the line. VAR, let's just go back to letting the refs and the linesmen, the referee's assistants make a decision. I'm just going to say it. Ladies, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
No worries.
Brilliant.
We can make this an every Monday thing if you like. It's not a problem.
Oh, lovely.
Definitely. We're there.
There you go. Mondays is ladies takeover day. And you watch soon. There'll be 5 of them all round, and I'll be bullied. No, listen. Really enjoyed it. Really good vibes. Thank you so much for coming on. Just quickly, we got 4 minutes. Quickly, Kate, where can people find you? Tell them about you.
Just a girl who loves Spurs. It's just me and my opinions. I have people on every day 1 till 2, and usually after a game on a Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. It's a chilled vibe, nothing too heavy. There's no drama. We just have a chat and a rant if needed. But so far, there's been no rant since, there was after the cup, but so far in the league, no ranting. So it's just a chilled place to hang out at lunchtime. So come and subscribe, please. I'm heading to the 500 mark.
Come on, get over there. There's 390 of you left in here. Just get over there, smash that button. If somebody in the chat would be so kind in this last 60 seconds or so to whack the link for Kate in there, that would be great. And Ellie, where can people find you?
Right, before I say that, they'll find you every Monday under the fun with all the women. Like, but
Brilliant.
yeah, you can find me on Kate's show every Wednesday. It's brilliant. Hump Day Lunch Day is fantastic. We have a great laugh, me and Kate. We
do.
You know, we're building our following as well on that Wednesday, because Kate's got a fabulous following anyway, because they tune in because of her personality and her knowledge about football. So I'm really glad that I'm on that show. And then Brian Daigle's invited me on his show a couple of times so far, and wants to include me. So that's really nice. So I'm not on the show. I was on THFC Till I Die, but I moved away. So I like going on other people's shows as well. And I've got more flexibility, Savva. I can do, you know, I'm fitting in with them rather than me fitting in with the show regularly, you know. But
Perfect.
I will be starting a Spurs ladies show and a historic
Nice.
show next when the season starts in October. For the ladies, 1st of October, I'll be building up for that. So the
Nice.
week before, and then I'll do I want to do a nice historic show, you know, about Spurs' history. Yeah.
I tell you what, I think, Ellie, I'll be brutally honest, I think that's great from the female side of it, for the women's game. But also, I think it's great for a lot of our fans that come into these chat groups don't seem to know a lot about our history. So I think that would be
educating.
Yeah. And I'm not going to get into it, but especially when they knock this sexy man,
Oh,
one of the greatest players I've ever
mean?
seen in a Spurs shirt. Big up. Listen, we must go. I'm on another show in like 1 minute. And I haven't even had breakfast. Much love. See you later. Loved it, ladies. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on.